Londra'da Türkiye'deki İngiliz Ticaret Odası'nın başkanı Chris Gaunt'la önemli bir Türkiye etkinliğinde buluşuyoruz. Mr. Gaunt, thanks for joining our program. First of all, the recent political and economic developments in Turkey, how do you think they are reflected in the English business world?
Well, I mean, it is a Turkish issue. And having spent the last week or so in UK, I mean, there's not many people aware of what's going on in Turkey. I mean, the media's only covered some of the issues, but they've not really focused on that because they've got bigger things to focus on, like Ukraine and Gaza and all these other.
Turkey is not a big issue here in UK.
Well, it's not the issue that's in comparison to the other issues, shall we say.
Okay.
Speaking to the British public, and if you ask the question, have you been following it? They'd probably say no.
So you have been following Turkey for how many years?
Oh, dear me. Well, I worked for Coca-Cola. That's what brought me to Turkey. Then took over the...
So you know Turkey very well?
Very well, and the region.
So how do you see the recent developments and the reflections, Turkey's resilience, Turkish markets and economies' resilience in terms of...
Well, the key word is resilience. I mean, having spent, almost 13 years as chairman of the British Chamber of Commerce in Turkey, I've seen, the ups and downs, and, there's nothing new in terms of, some slight turbulence, because Turkey is so strategically important, and, whatever's happening in the region, geopolitically, Turkey's, to some extent, always going to be affected, whether it be the Middle East, whether it be in Europe, we've seen it before, and the key word is resilience, because the Turkish business community, is very strong and very resilient. So, whatever headwinds we have to deal with, the Turkish business community finds a way through, and I expect that to happen again. Because you've got some really big companies in Turkey, and you look at Koç Group. I mean, where else do you find a Fortune 500 company in an emerging market? I don't think you'll find one anywhere else than in Turkey. So they have that resilience, they have that professionalism. The strength of Turkish management in the private sector is comparable with anywhere else in the world. So they do find a way, and so we overcome these headwinds. And
no major concern then.
No major concern. I think the political side is down to to Turkey.
Okay.
And not something that we get involved in.
So as the head of BCCT, what's your agenda at the moment about Turkey? Do you expect free trade agreement to start in April?
Well, we hope so. We want to see that. It strengthens bilateral trade. It will open up new opportunities for both Turkey and the UK. So it's it'd be a major step forward. And given I think the EU have also indicated that they'd like to strengthen the customs union agreement with Turkey. So when you put all that together, that benefits both the UK, because that helps us with the customs union agreement if that's strengthened. It's all positive, and we do hope it starts. I mean, it was first mentioned more than a year ago. It was an agreement after the first free trade agreement. And
any date determined for April?
Not that I'm aware of, but obviously the negotiators at the embassy in Ankara will be closer to that than me.
Okay.
But it is an important step. I mean, all the indicators are positive, and Turkey's got enormous potential, and it's going to be of interest, and has been of interest for many years for UK companies.
What will be the tricky issues now? What will be different from the previous free trade agreement?
Well, as I say, it'll open up new sectors.
Services, for example.
Services.
What else?
Agriculture, education. So we're looking at all those sectors where UK has a particular strength. Advanced engineering, technology, all these things that we can add value, and which will benefit Turkey as well.
The trade balance was in favor of Turkey, as far as I know.
Yes.
Do you think it might change?
Yes. It could change. I mean, the world's a crazy place at the moment. There's a lot of turmoil. EU economies are also struggling. The UK is having difficulties with its economy. So there's always going to be a period of time when things slow down, particularly trade. And when you have an economic issue to deal with, then most companies, I'm not talking about just UK, but companies in general, they focus on their domestic markets. They don't focus on export, or they have to obviously deal with imports because that's part of their business. But it's as I say, it's a difficult time for everybody at the moment. So things could slow down, but they get back very quickly once the economy gets back.
Okay.
And Turkey is still a big trading partner for UK. So if you look at what I'm wearing today, I'm probably wearing something that was made in Turkey. So
your suit is made in Turkey.
Made in Turkey, yeah.
Okay. So is there any specific investment decision from the UK side for Turkey at the moment?
I mean, there are. I mean, there are some big investments made by UKEF with Turkish construction companies, which is a very successful sector for Turkey. Not just in Turkey, but also in the region. They're second only to China in terms of construction, infrastructure projects and so on. And UKEF have been very active in financially supporting Turkish construction companies, not just in Turkey, but also in other parts of the world, in Central Asia, Africa, on infrastructure.
Is it a new investment decision?
No,
expanding out?
No, UKEF have identified Turkey as a priority region with Turkey as the hub, and they've invested something like just over £3 billion in infrastructure projects over the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm. I see. Any new investments decision do you think might come?
Well, they're ongoing. Mm-hmm. So UKEF will be speaking today at our conference. So the representative from UKEF will be explaining any new projects or potentially new projects that they're involved in Turkey.
Which sectors are attractive in Turkey? Lastly.
Which sectors? Well, I mean, obviously construction, tech. I mean, Turkey now is producing a lot of very good startup tech companies. Fortunately, a lot of those are looking to UK in terms of finance for their startups, and also working with more advanced tech companies in UK who can add value in terms of their capability.
Lastly, what is the potential of UK-Turkey trade relations in terms of figures? What is the level that they must attain?
Individually or as
countries? As countries,
well,
in terms of trade volume.
Yeah, I mean, we're something in the region of what, $24 billion.
What's the potential, do you think?
Well, it's unlimited, really. I mean, obviously you've got a lot of competition, with the EU and other countries who are having bilateral trade with Turkey, but UK has always been in a strong position. So the opportunity, I mean, there's a willingness to strengthen our trade relationship, and wherever we've got that will to do more, we will do more and increase our financial volume with Turkey, and the same for Turkey into UK as well. But as I say, UK is struggling with its economy, Turkey is struggling with its economy, and the European Union countries are struggling with their economies. But once that's settled and returns back to a more stable environment, we'll see further growth.
Mr. Gaunt, thanks for joining our program.
Thank you.
Türkiye'deki İngiliz Ticaret Odası'nın başkanı Chris Gaunt'la buluştuk. Sözü İstanbul'a bırakalım.
Ve haber turuyla devam ediyoruz. Dışişleri Bakanı Hakan Fidan bugün Amerika Birleşik Devletleri'ne gidiyor. Bu Trump'ın ikinci döneminde Türkiye'den yapılan ilk resmi ziyaret olacak. Ve Fidan, ABD Dışişleri Bakanı Rubio ve diğer üst düzey yetkililerle Türk-Amerikan ilişkilerini geliştirecek adımları görüşecek. Türkiye saatiyle 21.30'da başlaması beklenen görüşmede Suriye'deki son durum, Rusya-Ukrayna savaşı, Gazze'deki ateşkes, katsa yaptırımları gibi konular ele alınacak. Fidan, Türkiye'nin Suriye'nin istikrarına verdiği desteği ve Suriye'ye yönelik yaptırımların kaldırılması gerektiğini vurgulayacak. Görüşmede F-35 programına dönüş süreci üzerinde durulması da beklenen bir diğer başlık.